I'm April Atmansky, and I'm here today with...
Justin the Clue.
Oh my God,
Whoa,
what was that?
You just had a stroke.
I'm arm wrestling.
Oh my God.
And...
Colin Cunningham. I'm still concerned about Justin. Are you okay?
Over the top!
Did you drink Valvoline motor oil?
Yeah, and I'm chomping down on a cigar.
Yeah. So today we're talking about, I think, what many would consider a classic bad movie. Over the Top. The arm wrestling movie starring Sylvester Stallone, which I have heard about for years and has been on my list for years of just movies to watch, and had not seen it until this episode.
Yeah, and this was my choice, and I have to apologize to both of you for picking this. I completely misremembered this movie.
Maybe everyone does.
Yeah, I remember seeing it when it came out on video. I remember, and all these years, I've never seen it since, and I just, in my mind, I have a different version of this movie than what it actually is.
I think maybe because you're remembering the good parts.
I'm remembering all 15 minutes of the good parts, which are...
Shocking twist. I love this movie, unironically.
It is. I remember just the very beginning part, you know, when he picks up his son at the school, and then I just remember the end arm wrestling scene. I remember nothing in between.
I love all of this earnest Sylvester Stallone and it with his son in his car showing him how to, I don't know, do arm exercises or drive.
Truck.
Yeah, it is like, it's so sappy and but it's so boring.
It's a love story between a father and son.
Yeah,
it is.
I mean, I didn't hate this movie, but I did find that middle really boring. It needed more action. It needed something.
I remember
it was just like sad, and the mom.
Love it. Tears streaming down my face, being like, oh,
well, first of all,
they love each other so much.
First of all, Menachem Golan directed this movie.
Yes.
I figured he just like dabbled in directing from time to time.
He directed a lot.
45 movies.
He did a lot in Israel earlier on.
Right. Okay.
And when he came, I'm not sure how it would work out, which ones he would decide to direct, because he did like Enter the Ninja, but I think he took over from someone.
Right.
I don't know if that was the case with Over the Top, or just wanted to direct it because it was like a massive budgeted production for them.
He probably wanted to direct Stallone or something like that.
Who also co-wrote the film, Stallone.
Oh God, yeah. It was probably just like a big feather in his cap.
And then Stallone like complained about it afterwards, saying that the movie sucked, and it's like, well, you co-wrote it, so
well, I didn't think anybody was going to see it, and it was like the movie's costing like $50 million.
Yeah,
you don't think anyone's going to see this?
Stallone gave him. Oh wait, they gave Stallone $12 million to do this movie, and I think that was like the highest paid actor at the time. It had to have been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it broke records.
But that was Cannon's sort of MO. They would just like throw money at people. He said they just kept offering him more and more money until he finally caved.
And Stallone, during this period, he's coming off of Cobra and Rocky 4.
Okay.
And going into Rambo 3. So he's in his cheesiest of eras.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't seen Cobra either, but that's like a funny bad movie, right? Or is that like a legitimately good
Crime is the disease.
No, it's very
cure.
cheesy. It's very entertaining though, like consistently entertaining. This is just like kind of a slog, I would say.
Oh no, I buckled in for a father-son drama, and that's exactly what I got.
Yeah, it's good in theory, but you're right, it's too sappy.
But the thing is, like if I'd gone in as Justin had, thinking the movie was going to be about this father-son bonding thing, I would probably be on board. But it's like in my mind, I had a completely different movie. So when I saw this, I was very kind of shocked at how kind of slow and plodding it was.
I was reminded throughout this movie of that other movie, The Wizard. Which I think came out around the same time.
I like The Wizard.
I actually haven't seen that all the way through, but that's another like sad kid movie.
But what
at the
did
end,
the nostalgic critic have to say about The Wizard?
Well, that's a big reason why I know it. So I was trying to gloss over that. So thank you for calling me.
I had read something on IMDb that the truck that he wins at the end of this shows up in The Wizard.
Yeah, so there's a weird connection.
Oh, it's the over-the-top universe.
Yeah.
What if the wizard's like, I need some help, and then Stallone pulls up, and he's like, I got this one.
He's the wizard.
OTTCU.
But actually, similarly, so Fred Savage, when he was a kid, he had this kind of very adult way of speaking.
Yeah.
Because maybe he was a classically trained actor. But the kid in this also looks and sounds like him, especially at the beginning of the movie. He's like, excuse me, sir. But is this like your registered domicile? He's such a little shit. But I mean, that's his character, and he grows.
Well, he comes from like a snooty military academy, so.
But you'd think they would have like broke him down at a military academy.
No, it's
Is
like
that what you think happens at a military academy?
He's in a
That people are
military
just
academy
wrecks?
for rich people. They're training you to be officers at these things, so it's like you're snooty and aloof when you come out.
I thought you hear military school. I thought that's where bad kids go.
Yeah, that's when they send you.
And rich kids go to military academy. 'cause
Oh yeah,
it's
like West Point,
so.
you know, all these like rich military kids graduate from those things. Yeah, but you're very snooty and aloof, and he's very like, you know, he when Stallone comes to pick him up, he demands to see his ID. Excuse me, sir, do you have any ID?
Yeah.
I kind of like the kid in these scenes. Like he kind of, I don't know.
I wish the kid was played by Sage Stallone, but you can't have everything.
His son's an actor?
Well,
Yeah, he's in Rocky V playing Stallone's son, I
I
believe.
never saw 5. I didn't see Rocky 5.
is that with Tommy Gunn?
Yeah, that's with Tommy Gunn, where he trains him. And then the big climax takes place in an alleyway.
Oh God.
But this kid is actually, at the time, was a very used child actor. Did a lot of voiceover work. Probably most famous for being Witwicky, the kid in Transformers, the movie.
Yes.
Oh, no
the
shit.
cartoon. Yeah, but I was like, he looks familiar, but I definitely haven't. I looked him
No,
up.
you don't
I
know
haven't
him from
seen
anything.
him like anything on camera, but he did a lot of voiceover work.
Was he with Wiki in like the TV show as well,
Yeah,
or just?
think
according
so.
to IMDb, he was in only 9 episodes.
Oh,
but
weird.
maybe that's all the episodes that
he didn't?
Danny or Davey or Doberman Witwicky appeared in.
Weird. Maybe they killed him off, or he just started asking for
Yeah.
too much money.
They killed him off like they killed all the other Transformers in the film.
I
Wait, were you
haven't
watching
seen it.
Transformers when that happened, Colin?
No, I remember watching the TV show for a bit when it first came out, and like the toys were, it's this craze. People were like fighting over them in stores, and then I never saw the movie.
Because people talk about the fact that like it's as if The Simpsons had a movie where they killed off like half of the cast of
Yeah.
characters at the
People are
beginning,
really
and then they're
upset
like, "Oh,
about
look
that
at these
movie.
new Simpson characters."
Oh, weird. So do you think did they continue on the show after that with
They
the new
did.
characters?
So Hot Rod starred in the show for a while after the movie.
I wonder if it was just because they wanted to sell more toys.
It is 100% because they wanted to sell more toys.
All
That was the
right.
only reason that they killed off Optimus Prime in the first 20 minutes of the Transformers movie.
What? That's
You,
crazy.
you did not know this? That Optimus Prime dies in a horrifying way. Like he's on like
Yeah.
his deathbed and he's like, whoa, and he
Oh my
like fades
God.
away.
It's like famous for like traumatizing children.
I had
And-
no idea. I knew he died in the movie. I thought it was at the end.
No, it's right at the beginning. And that's why in G.I. Joe, Duke dies. But at the end, like over the last shot, you hear someone off screen go, "Hey, Duke's alive!" Just in case you were worried about Duke.
I used to love G.I. Joe, like the show.
We should do the movie. I like the G.I. Joe movie.
This kid did voice work in G.I. Joe. the show.
Okay.
A real
So it was
American
Wiki.
hero. G.I. Joe the movie has like a very anime-ish, like lots of tentacles attacking people. It becomes the Defiant Ones. Why? Because I think Roadblock gets handcuffed to Cobra Commander for most of the film.
I
Are
don't.
you talking about the first one? Because
Yeah, G.I. Joe the motion picture.
There's multiple G.I.
What was the
Joe
one with
movies.
the animated one?
Yeah, the animated one.
Oh, I'm talking about the live action.
No,
no, I'm not talking about the live action one.
What was the one with Serpentor? It was like the kind of multi-season, or it was like a kind of multi-episode arc where they
I don't
create,
remember.
They create Serpentor, and that's when like Sergeant Slaughter from the WWF came into the show. They had William the Refrigerator Perry from the NFL come into the show as a character, but they would go around the world getting the DNA from like all the best. They would get like Genghis Khan's like DNA. And like all these people, and then they created this like the super soldier called Serpentor.
I
like-
don't
sound
remember
interesting.
at all.
I think it was-
is he in the movie? Because the movie's about like real snake people come out of the ground.
I think this was probably one of the seasons, but it was like a multi-episode arc. So each episode they would find a previous like world. Oh, we found the tomb of Genghis Khan. It's like steal his DNA, and then whoever the fuck else, Napoleon's DNA.
Hitler.
Hitler's DNA.
Yeah, Serpentor is very short.
Oh, that's a little too far, Hitler. Not that many years ago. Maybe we should avoid that one.
Justin Trudeau.
Yes. Oh no, we're wearing brown face now.
I'm joking.
Okay.
Yeah, Colin's always putting up those hashtags. Trudeau must go on Twitter.
Does the hide hashtag thing on Twitter even work?
Yes, I have an app. I have a little Chrome extension that I do not see any of the whatever's trending stuff.
Oh my God.
Because that would drive me mad. And I was like, I don't want to see it.
constantly see stuff. Like if I have to fucking see Jordan Peterson like trending again, and no matter how many times I hide it, I'm not interested in this. When I refresh, they just come right up again.
But are you talking about on the trending page?
Yeah.
Just don't go to that page.
No, but I want to see other stuff.
It also appears on the right side when you're in Twitter.
On a computer, yeah.
It's
on a
like
computer,
insufferable.
yeah.
I never use it on the computer. It's always like the mobile app, but it's like I can't hide hashtags. I'm not interested. Okay, we've hidden it. Just refresh, and then new trends will come
Hey,
up.
Jordan Peterson's
Jordan
back.
Peterson again. Now
It's
he's even
because
higher.
There's going to be a new bad hashtag every hour. You can't control
fucking
it.
Jordan Peterson, Elon Musk, and Joe Rogan. It's like just permablock. I don't want to see these guys.
How is Jordan Peterson not dead from meat consumption at this
I don't
point?
know.
Like, wasn't he in a coma for like 10 years?
I think like a
Captain America?
self-induced coma, like Serpentor in like the USSR.
He was going around the world looking for the
Play
DNA.
Serpentor.
He was frozen in a block of ice in like Russia or something like that.
Yeah, like Captain America.
Yeah. Except
Well, he did go to Canada after
asshole.
he got de-thawed. Right?
Yeah, great. Should have left him in the ice.
Okay,
So,
so speaking of
movie.
which, this is a canon movie, much like Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
Is this, other than Captain America, the only other a canon movie we've done? Because that seems unlikely. We've done over 100 episodes.
We
now.
haven't done Delta Force. We haven't done Death Wish 3.
No, but
we haven't done The
there's
Apple.
so many good ones. The Apple, another one that's directed by Menachem Golem. Now, in that case, I believe he directed that because it was his passion project.
Oh.
So that makes me really want to see that.
Here's an apple, a magic apple.
Yeah, we got. Come on, we got to do that one. at some point.
Yeah, I've
Never
seen it.
Yeah.
The star of that film showed up on an episode of Kitchen Nightmares with Gordon Ramsay.
Did he? And he's
Yeah.
like, I'm the apple, magic apple.
He talked
No?
about how he was on the Apple. I
What
think
was
we
his
watched
name?
it.
Something Love. Yeah,
Buddy
he had
Love.
he had a fish and chip shop in Brighton.
Wow.
In Brighton Beach, and it became a huge success story on Kitchen Nightmares.
So it was not a nightmare. It was a good dream.
Well, it started out as a nightmare, but then
Okay. I
Gordon
was in
and
the
him-
apple. Help me.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
Alan Love, and I actually wrote an email to him because it was I was almost in tears. The episode was so good, and then
Really?
I wrote an email to him. He and Gordon just didn't get along, and then Gordon revamped it, and then it just became this huge success and everything. And then I wrote an email to him, and he wrote back, and he was like, "Oh, thank you very much."
Have you seen the apple, Colin?
And I was like,
He's like, oh yeah, I love it.
"Thank you," and I said, "Wrong email address."
That's back.
So Justin, as you know, canon movies all generally they have a feel. To them. Maybe not.
Why would I know?
100% of them.
Not very familiar with this genre and production studio.
So this movie, it has kind of like a cheapness to it, which I like, but at the same time, like they still have like a lot of extras, like that opening scene in the military academy. There are a couple of cool car crashes and stuff like that, but I feel like the budget all went to Stallone.
Oh yeah, for sure.
know?
That must have been like half the budget or a third at least.
They had some
Yeah,
cool
absolutely. There's no
locations,
way it
but,
cost more than $24 million for this arm wrestling movie.
Yeah, and then that takes place mostly in like the Mack truck, like
Yeah,
cab.
so it's also about trucking, which
Have we ever talked about Stallone on this podcast? I'm a
I
huge Stallone
don't
head, especially
think so.
Frank Stallone. I mean, we've talked about Frank.
we definitely
but-
talked about Frank, who is on the soundtrack for this movie.
Yeah, I was trying to hear every time a song came up. I was
Is
like,
this a Frank
"Is this
Stallone
Frank
song?
Stallone?
You can't
Is this
even
Frank
recognize
Stallone?"
his voice. Like, he has a very kind of generic 80s sounding voice.
Well, it's funny because all the songs in this movie, first of all, the soundtrack by Giorgio Moroder,
I know, and I love him, but this soundtrack
This sucks.
is terrible.
it's just like sad piano music through the entire movie.
And also,
Oh, and there's a bunch of Sammy Hagar hits that play out throughout the film as well.
It feels like okay, they might be multiple songs. Like we looked at the end.
It does sound like the same song.
It does.
doesn't
It sounds like the same song played over and over. But then we looked at the
Because
credits.
it starts off like, the miles go by like water
Yeah.
under
It's
the
like-
bridge.
And then there's like 10 other songs. It sounds
The
just
winner
like that.
takes it all.
Well, that song
Yeah,
rocks.
winner takes it all.
Winner Takes It All, which is the song. It also helps that it's during like the most exciting sequence in the movie,
Yeah.
which is the montage of arm wrestling.
Well, I hope you like it because it's the only song they play during that arm
that
wrestling.
song.
I love it. Play it again, Sam.
I know it somehow. Like as soon as I heard it, I was like, I've heard this song before. I know I love it. I feel like it was on a
there we
commercial
go.
or
Nostalgia
something.
critic.
Oh no. I don't think he did this movie. Not when I was watching anyway.
I don't know, but yeah. And then we looked at the end credits, and it's like Sammy Hagar, Frank Stallone, Kenny Loggins.
And Marauder like wrote a lot of those songs.
Well, yeah,
himself.
he would do the music,
Yeah.
but like Kenny Loggins, how did I miss a Kenny Loggins song? They just
Yeah.
all sound so similar, and you just get really sick of them by the end of the movie.
I know a good soundtrack really would have helped.
I was bopping my head throughout all of this. Love it.
I really liked Winner Take It All.
Yeah,
Do you
but-
agree with, I think Stallone said he would have gotten rid of all the rock songs, made it a darker film.
What?
And also,
No,
Said
like,
it-
don't. He also said that like the end sequence should have had a more like foreboding like
Why?
feeling
No.
to it.
No.
I know, I
Like,
disagree.
it's fun. It's a sports movie. Like how could you do that?
I think what it should have been, what it needed desperately, was intersperse the kind of father-son bonding stuff.
which more arm wrestling?
more arm wrestling tournaments as they kind of build up towards
yeah,
the Las
they have
Vegas.
to go to Las Vegas. You know what? I can agree with you that would have been fun.
Yeah, because they only introduce like there's like one arm wrestling tournament, so they go to a truck stop, and then that's the introduction to the arm wrestling world, and then the first time that you see the villain Bull.
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 Bull?
Bull.
Bull. I think he has a real. It's like Bill Hurley or something. Bull, like something Hurley, isn't it?
Should be Berlin.
I don't know, but I was reading.
huge.
This guy is massive, and it's comical that Stallone can even compete with this guy.
It's all
He's even
about
allowed
technique, not just about muscle.
to. I guess,
Yeah.
but they said that this guy was their third choice for the villain.
Yeah.
They wanted this other guy, the first guy that they picked, but he was too massive.
So how big was that guy?
I know. They said you would never believe that Stallone could beat the one that they wanted, so this was the third guy that they picked.
Also, isn't Stallone like historically not very tall?
No,
Yes.
he's like 4.5 feet tall.
You're not that short.
They had to bring in Peter Jackson to shoot.
Well,
scenes.
there's
yeah.
like a shot near the end of the movie where it's like someone wearing like huge platform shoes, and I'm like, that's probably Stallone.
I saw that.
Well, it was a montage of like a bunch of people. I guess that's how because they have to be on the same
That would help them be on the same height.
the
level.
same height as they're arm wrestling somebody, so they probably have to wear these platform shoes. Like,
Have you guys ever arm wrestled?
Oh, like
Well, I mean,
in
I
elementary
think everybody has
school,
at some
of
point.
course.
I didn't mean like professionally. I mean like, when do you think the last time you arm wrestled was?
High school.
Yeah, maybe.
I seem
like,
to remember like arm wrestling with my cousin, and she would always do kind of the Stallone thing. She
Yeah.
would squeeze my thumb as you go, and I'm like, that's cheating.
I would always try the Stallone thing.
Because
the-
she'd be
you go
like
over the top?
She'd
Yeah.
squeeze it so hard, you're just cutting off circulation in my hand. But yeah, maybe I think that was what Stallone.
I was
doing.
looking if that was an illegal move or not. It feels like it's an illegal move.
It feels like a lot of the stuff that they're doing in this movie during the arm wrestling wouldn't be allowed. They seem to be using their body a lot, and like,
you gotta use your whole body.
but like, I don't know, like using their legs to like shift.
Or yeah, like you see some guys who are like leaning back.
Yeah,
and
it doesn't. I
So
don't
their
know.
arm won't go.
Well,
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're using only their arms.
I don't know if I should wait till the end of the podcast, but I just wanted to bring up the other arm wrestling movie, maybe the only other arm wrestling movie in existence that Justin you played during your recent summer movie Mind Melter. Now, what was that called? Champion?
Yeah.
And that was really cute. And it was very similar to this movie. No truck driving, but it's like, it starts off, he gets approached at a bar. He's like, come on, you got to arm wrestle.
More arm wrestling in Champion than in Over the Top.
It's way more. And then he connects with his family throughout the movie. And at the end, he does the competition. Although I think it's a smaller competition in that one. Like, I don't think he even wins anything.
Doesn't win a truck.
Doesn't win a truck.
Worth $250,000.
It's a Korean movie, and it stars the
Because
guy.
every
who was
arm
in the
wrestler is a
Eternals.
truck driver.
Yeah, this was
Every single one.
This
Or a
is so
wrestler.
funny. Yeah, so it's like what do you get? You get like $100,000 and a big Mack
Huge
truck.
And that's true. They actually did give out trucks at arm wrestling competitions. I read that on the IMDb.
Really?
Was it the
No.
one that was organized for this movie? Because
I think it was after, but
because I did see that they, like, I guess Canon Films organized an actual arm
They
wrestling
did,
thing, and they
yes.
gave away the truck that's in the movie.
Well, it could have been that. I don't know.
But yeah, it's very, it's a very specific prize. Like if you won a truck, Justin, just imagine that you've just
I would
won.
sell that truck because I don't have anything I could do with it.
I wouldn't even be able to start it up. How the fuck are you going to drive this thing?
I don't even have a driver's license. Never have. So couldn't drive
we have
anything.
A weird association with truckers in Canada now because
Oh,
of the
that's
recent
right.
truck
Oh, Jesus.
protests.
Are they
And-
also arm wrestlers?
I wonder. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. I didn't see much of it at the their
It was
freedom.
it was a
protest.
big problem for us just a couple months ago, and now they've stopped protesting.
Such idiots.
But I'm not going to get into it. But it's a bit of a sore spot.
Yeah, which is
okay.
too bad because they
They're the arm wrestling kings. They do a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
the actual truckers who were
truckers
working and not protesting.
I was saying while we were watching this movie, like, what a shitty job. But you need people.
It is,
They
yeah.
are so important to our economy, and that's how
Not
we
only is
get
it shitty, they're
anything.
paid garbage, and like I think they have to. I was listening recently to like a little documentary about this. They have to like pay off their truck by trucking.
Yeah.
like it's technically owned by the company.
Yeah, I think they lease them from the company or something like
Ugh.
that. And it's just like, it seems like, I don't know, indentured servitude or something like that. It's a tough job.
Yeah.
Holy
sure
cow.
is. You have to sleep sitting up, as you see in this movie.
Well, most of them have like cabs in the back.
They
that you
have a
can
cot,
A
yeah.
cot, yeah. But I guess he has a shitty truck at the beginning of this movie. My God.
Okay, so
It looks
we
like
start
Mater
off,
from
and he's washing
Cars.
the truck, right? It's a montage of him washing his truck.
He's going to pick up his son at his snooty military academy, and he can't look like a piece of shit. 'cause
Yeah, so
everybody's rich.
We kind of mentioned the military academy scene where he's graduating, and then he goes to pick him up, and he's like, "Can I see some identification?" And he shows him a picture
Well,
of
the
him
big
and his
deal is
mom.
that like this kid, I think, assumed his father was dead.
Yeah, I think that's what Robert. So Robert Loggia is his grandfather.
Robert Loggia.
Loggia.
He's pretty great, although he's like not in the movie enough.
Yeah.
I
He's
wanted
in it a
more,
lot. They keep
like,
cutting back to him.
Like over the top scenes.
You want
He
him?
wanted Sylvester Stallone to wrestle Robert
Dude,
Loggia.
he should have challenged him to an arm wrestle.
Let's see how much of a man you are.
Yeah.
Lincoln
No,
Hawk.
that's beneath him because he's Mr. Rich Snooty Pants.
It would be better if like the entire movie is kind of like Mad Max, where it's like, they're constantly driving their truck to California, and then Robert Loggia is constantly
Like chasing them?
Yeah, he's like humongous. He's like trying to run them off the road the entire way. So it'd be like Fury Road or something.
And he needs to pay for gas, Stallone, by like arm wrestling his way to the top.
Need to get my gasoline.
Yeah. But yeah, so it doesn't make any sense to me that the mom would not want her son to know her father or does she only want him to know him now because she's dying?
She's dying. So the mom has cancer, and
But previously, she didn't. He left, which is a big deal. But I guess she was still mad at him all those years. But she had a change of heart.
I had a memory that Robert Loggia paid Sylvester Stallone to leave. Did they talk about that?
I can't
think
remember.
I thought so. No, I thought.
He's like, "You were tearing us apart!" Stallone yells at Robert
Well,
Loggia at one
yeah.
point.
Obviously, what happened was when they got married and had this kid, the grandfather hated him so much he was probably just like constantly undermining him, like
Because you're a
daily.
loser,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
people constantly say throughout the movie, oftentimes off screen.
he
I
was
know,
just
like he's a cool truck driver. He's not that big of a loser.
Well, I guess he's like, she came from a very rich family. Obviously, Robert Loggia looks down on Stallone because he's like blue collar, like truck driver. It's like, you're better than
Arm
this
wrestler.
guy. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's like, how did they even meet? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But
Yeah, April's like, how do the rich meet the poor? How do relationships start?
it is funny when he shows up at the military school and he's wearing his, I don't know, fancy clothes, where it's like an old denim shirt and suspenders and like a tie and stuff like that. And the looks
I'd like
people
to
are
see
giving
my
him.
boy.
This truck pulls up. It is so like rusted and beaten down. You could just see like a Hollywood production designer going to town on this, making it look like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the looks he gets are really funny. And then, yeah, the kid's like, he gets called into like the principal's office or whatever they're called, the general's office. And he's like, okay, your father's here to pick you up. And he said, oh, my father's dead. I guess Robert Loggia has been feeding the kid lies all these years. Like, your father's like a drug
keeping
dealer.
letters away that Stallone has been sending all this time.
Yeah, like the Robert Loggia says multiple times, he's all I have. He's my son, even though he's his grandson. But it sounds like him raising
we got
him,
a Chinatown situation going on here.
God.
He's
It sounds
technically
like
my son.
all he did was just teach him that lower class people are beneath you and you should hate your real father.
Yeah.
He's not here, so you should hate him. And then when he shows up, he's like, well, he's a loser. It just goes on and
There
on.
should be a scene where Robert Loggia was like, I used to be like you once.
Yeah.
I didn't want this for my daughter.
I just want some kind of confrontation between the kid and Robert Loggia, because
Yeah,
Robert
that
Loggia
never
does
happened.
really terrible things to this kid. Like, he says his father's dead. Then he says his father was like a drug dealer.
He sends goons to kidnap him.
He deliberately hides all the letters all these years, which Stallone never really makes much of a fuss about.
No, he kind of shrugs.
Yeah,
like,
the kid,
which is bananas.
Yeah.
But maybe he knows the grandfather, and he's like, yeah, it doesn't surprise
I guess he
me.
kind of assumes it, yeah, but he says,
so here's
like...
my question, though. The mother got the letters, but the son didn't. Why?
It seems like the mother hid the letters as well.
So she must
because
have hid
he finds
them.
it in her room.
So it's partially her fault, because the father probably would have just burned them. The grandfather.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I thought he was
not
going...
explained.
The kid was going through drawers. I just assumed it was like Robert Loggia's drawers or something. Like, he intercepted them.
He would have burnt them if he didn't want anyone.
Yeah,
really didn't want.
so
the mom obviously read them, so she knew that he was writing to the son all these years and withheld those letters. So she's a piece of shit too.
Oh my God.
Well, maybe the mom
Reevaluating
wrote
this whole
back
movie.
to Sylvester Stallone. I don't remember if he mentions that or
I
not. 'Cause He
don't
seems
know
to
either.
have had communication with her.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, the kid hates Sylvester Stallone, and the mom wants the kid to drive to her with Stallone because she's having an operation.
Yeah, from,
she's on death's door.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like from Colorado to California. And she's hoping that, the kid and Stallone are going to bond over this thing, because she probably knows that she doesn't have very long to live, and, the kid's going to be without her mother.
She does
his
this
mother.
behind her father's back.
Yeah, Robert Loggia is not happy about this.
He shows up like 5 minutes later. What do you mean he's gone? And you let him leave with that loser?
Yeah.
Yeah, they keep calling him a loser. That's like the main thing.
He's almost like a mob boss in this movie. Like, the way people are...
I mean, has Robert Loggia ever not
not?
played a mob boss in anything?
I'm just thinking of his character in Lost Highway, that one scene that he has. But
He could be scary.
yeah, but he's so rich that even like, the guy who runs the military academy is terrified of him. And then later he's like intimidating doctors like in the hospital, and they're like, "Oh, yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Loggia." He's like, "If anybody calls my daughter, I want to know about it." Like, intercept them. He sends kidnappers out. Like, what does he do?
Yeah.
He has like a Scarface mansion at the end.
He does. Yeah.
And during this time, Stallone and the kid, they stop in to get some food, and everyone knows Stallone. Not only do they know him, they love Stallone.
You would think they
Patting
know
him on the back, being like, "Hey, how's it going?"
You would think they could get his name consistent though, because
What do they call him?
His name is
Isn't his name Lincoln Hawk?
his name is Lincoln Hawk, but I think there's a couple times in the movie where people refer to him as Hawks.
Yeah, but I mean,
Lincoln
that's
Hawks.
That's a
that's
nickname.
understandable.
It's like we call you Cunningham.
I think that Robert Loggia calls him Hawks.
He does.
And then one of his
and sometimes
goons.
they call him Link. which
One
is
of his
cute.
goons calls him Hawks.
Yeah, well, his goons.
It's
don't know
a
his real
term of I guess insult if you put an S at the end of someone's name.
I
name. No,
guess.
it's not like
Aprils.
or like apes. I've been called that before.
People call you apes
Yeah, or ape or apey, but like
or gorilla
apes,
or
April calls
chimpanzee.
If
herself
I
that.
called you calls, like
What? I would be like, what's who are you and what happened to April?
I think it's okay to call someone hawks. I don't think
So
that's
wait, can I call you
error.
apes from now on, April?
Sure. I wouldn't be offended at all.
If you called me calls, I would think that like Scarlet Witch had come in from a multiverse
And like possessed
your
mind.
body.
Because I just created a new nickname that you're not familiar with.
Calls. It's so weird.
It's not that.
Yeah, how would you react if April suddenly like, not even that, she gave you a new nickname like Pork Chop or something like that.
I'd be like, what is going on? I think she like had a bet with her friends or something like that to see how many times she could do it before.
so
April is a compulsive gambler, so that fits her character.
I had a cat named Cohen. We called him Cones all the time.
That's just very confusing to the cat. He does not know what's going on.
He has like 50 nicknames, that cat.
Cats don't care anyway. They don't.
No, they don't know what
they
a
never
name
come
is.
when you call them.
No.
So back to the movie. In this bar, Stallone gets challenged by
A very angry man.
Grizzly. Isn't his name, or is that the guy he
Grizzly
faces
is
at the
later
end?
at the
Or was it
the
Mad
tournament, Dog? But there's also a Mad Dog.
I've been hearing that you're the best. Let's challenge. And it's built up in a way which is the kid's like, are you going to fight this guy?
Yeah,
and
you're not
Stallone's like,
supposed
don't
to
have
know.
time to explain now.
It seems like they're going to fight to the death.
Yeah, well, they don't tell you ahead of time, like as an audience member. So that's what
Can
you're
you
supposed
imagine
to do.
people sitting in the audience being like, what is this Stallone movie about? Hope it's just him driving a truck. And then they're like, arm wrestling?
What the hell?
That's why on the poster his arm looked gigantic.
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 That's why Stallone is gigantic on the poster as well, because he's very short in real life,
Yeah.
3.5 feet.
I gotta say, in this scene, everybody, I guess the AC isn't working in this place because everyone
There are slathered in sweat.
so sweaty.
There are also like so many men in this small
Do
space.
you agree now that movies are not sweaty? Like, people don't really sweat in movies anymore?
Because they want the
They
actors to be
should.
comfortable.
I make a note of it, and I love when movies are just like so
Like-
sweaty and
And
Well,
it's
gotta
shot
watch
in that
Body
way
Heat.
that, like, all 80s movies
Yeah.
were back in the day,
Yeah.
which is like, there's like triangular lights bouncing off of everybody's bodies.
yeah, I loved it. Fuck, what was the last movie I made a note of? Like Casino Royale. I was like, fuck, everybody's sweating in this movie.
Who would be the sweat down guy where it's like, all right, wet it up before
I don't know.
we
But
start?
Mads Mikkelsen in that movie just constantly dripping with sweat and like, oh, it's so great. I'm like, yeah, why don't they do that anymore?
because they're shooting on green screens.
Yeah, probably.
In an air
yeah,
conditioned.
they don't want the
air-conditioned-
green reflection on the sweat.
But I wonder, like, I just like, how could you even keep your hands together for an arm wrestling match
You
if
gotta
you're
chalk
so
'em up.
sweaty?
But you got to chalk it up, man.
Although they didn't have any chalk in this scene. That's later for the competition.
Later,
But-
later they had chalk, and then they strap their hands together. Remember, because they
Yes.
slip.
So he wins, and he does his signature move thing, which is he readjusts his hand when he's like right about to lose, and
Yeah.
that somehow gives him extra strength to win. And much like the Champion movie, it makes arm wrestling look exciting. It sounds like, how could you make a movie about that? Which I think maybe the director thought that, and so that's why there's hardly any arm wrestling in it. But you can make it look really fun and exciting.
Sure, I was just thinking of ways. I'm like, what if Sam Raimi, the old Sam Raimi, took over at the end?
Well, the old Sam Raimi's still working these days.
Yeah. I mean,
I know what you mean.
80s Sam Raimi, or even like Darkman Sam Raimi, if he took over like the arm wrestling scenes, how crazy that would be.
Hey, I haven't seen an arm wrestling scene since Twin Peaks: The Return.
Oh, yeah,
Remember
that was great.
Yeah, it's not something you see in movies or TV shows anymore.
That was so good.
Bring it back, I say.
Yeah.
Bring back arm wrestling.
Yeah, and then
I mean,
it's a barbaric.
it's not like the
ritual.
80s was like arm wrestling, fever.
No.
Like, people weren't arm wrestling left and right.
Well, they
It
were just they would take any sport or activity and make a movie around it in the 80s.
Hey, Colin, maybe we should arm wrestle and see who wins, because I lift weights a lot, but you.
Well, how about
are a
we
man,
say,
so?
if I arm wrestled you, you would win, April. There you go. Decided.
Well, thank you, but I'll take it.
There was always there's like
I
that.
want to break you, Justin. I'm not no forfeit.
There was like some video I watched last night. It was like an arm wrestling thing of like about dad strength. There's like this thing that like you could never beat your dad at like arm wrestling, because dad's like, as you grow older, you get like dad strength, where even though you don't work out, you're just really strong for some reason.
Why?
Only
Because they
against
lift
your
you
own
up, or because it's
children,
emotional?
No, you just, I don't know. You can't, I'm going to beat my dad in an arm wrestling match.
Do you think you could beat your dad at an arm wrestling competition, April?
Probably not. He's a lot older than me, obviously. But
remember-
I mean, he still works out, so.
I tried.
Okay.
I was like in a big gym phase in the 90s, and I would just work out all the time, and I'd be so fit. I could never beat my dad arm wrestling, and he was just like, would never.
You did it every day. It was like Hot Rod.
He would just like sit on the
Andy
couch,
Samberg
like
gets to
drinking a
fight.
beer, and I would just like, God damn it, like come on.
Yeah.
But there was this
I
like
mean,
funny video where it's just like this guy this huge muscly guy trying to arm wrestle his dad. He couldn't even budge him like a centimeter. And I think the dad was using like 3 fingers too. Oh. And he's just like, yeah, he's got dad strength. And then everyone in the comments were just talking about like, yeah, dad strength. It's a thing. Everybody wants it, but the only way to get it is to grow older.
And be a dad.
I don't know about that, but I will say
April's gonna go on a mission and start like knocking dads down left and right.
I'm gonna say the women, the men that I know are parents. Mm-hmm. They have very strong arms because they're always lifting up their kids.
You have to.
Have you ever lifted up a toddler? They're freaking heavy.
Oh God!
And if you're carrying, 2 at a time, even people who have multiple kids, like you get guns doing that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the kid is very impressed by him winning this arm wrestling thing. Surprisingly, he likes it, and this is kind of the beginning of them bonding.
But then Bull sneaks in during the competition.
He's just like floating in the background.
Yeah, he floats in the background, but he kind of like creepily grabs the kid, and he's all crazy sweaty, and he's like,
he's scary looking.
Who's that guy to you? And he's like, oh, he's my dad. He's like, sorry. And he's just like, ooh, what is going to happen in this scene?
I know. Hey, did he run into traffic yet? I think that happened before this scene.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which is pretty like
he pulls a Captain America.
Yeah, he says, I'm going to be sick.
I don't feel so well.
And then like he runs into traffic, and it didn't look like a stunt person to me. I'm sure it was.
I disagree. It looks like a small Asian man, a stunt person.
You couldn't even see his face. You're saying from behind it looked like an Asian.
They would not put a child into like highway traffic. That looked terrifying. And then his arms, like his jacket sleeve gets ripped off. And then Stallone runs across and like grabs him. But he kind of grabs him and like pulls him in close.
They have like a forceful hug.
But it's like, I can only imagine what the people driving on the highway were thinking. It's like, okay, you see this kid running out of a truck, and running across the highway, being chased by this like dude
restraining him.
This dude who's restraining him in a bear hug, and this kid looks like he's from a hoity-toity, military academy. It's like, what is happening?
Like a kidnapping.
I'd be calling 911, but you couldn't back then because nobody had phones in their cars.
Okay, so jumping ahead, he's impressed by the arm wrestling, and they make another stop at like a restaurant, and I think he convinces him to eat a burger or something, which is like a big deal. Because before he's like, don't you know that red meat is bad for you? He's so freaking annoying. And then, but no, now he's starting to loosen up, and Stallone convinces him to challenge these other boys.
Stallone pays the other boys to challenge him. He doesn't even give him a choice.
That's even more embarrassing.
It's just creepy. It's like, hey, kids.
Well, he's like, it's a bet, right? He's not like, here's $10. It's like, if he wins, we get the $10, and you win, you get the $10, right?
This kid looks terrifying, by the way. The bully kid. He looks like a Neanderthal.
They shoot him really up close, and he's like sneering, and he's...
Well, they're arcade punks, too.
Yeah.
Hanging out in the arcade. They look like the Escape from the Wizard.
Yeah, they're very, very wizard-esque.
He just looks like he has like a extra chromosome or something. It's just very creepy.
So he arm wrestles them, and like Stallone's behind him, like, you can do it, you can do it, yeah,
push it, kid, pump it, push it, kid, pump it, kid, pump it.
And he loses, and he cries, and
cries like a wiener,
like a little baby.
Yeah,
he runs outside. If your goal was to humiliate me, then you succeeded.
And he gives him a good pep talk, and he says like, you know what? Even if you go in there and you try again, and even if you lose, who cares? The point is you try.
It's not about falling down. It's about if you have the strength to get back up again. That's actually from Rocky Balboa, but same basic.
I was expecting like Michael Caine to come out of like the alleyway. Hello, why do we fall down? Little my hawk. Mike Cock.
Mike
Hawk.
The classic Michael Caine Mike Hawk speech.
Well, it was Michael. His name is Michael Hawk, I guess.
His name would be Michael Hawk if he took his father's name.
Yeah, I mean, the trivia, it was like the writers did that as a joke because his name would be Mike Hawk. Hello, little Mike Cock.
So he does get back in, and he challenges the boy again, who is like bigger than him, taller than him.
Yeah.
And he wins, yay! And then he calls his
twice.
Mom. Yeah, he does it. Yeah, he's like, yeah, gotta go again. You gotta go right now. It's like his arm is probably tired, dude. But anyway, he wins, and it's like the most exhilarating experience of his young boy's life. He calls his mom. And I think around this time he gets kidnapped by the goons.
Well, yeah, Stallone is on it's like an amazing Naked Gun like foreground background joke where like
Yeah.
Stallone is on the phone in the foreground, like, yeah, we're really bonding and like teaching him how to, and the kid in the background is like flexing, like, yeah. And then these
they
like
scoop him up.
these men come in and like kidnap him, and then we
Yeah.
get a car chase.
Which is ridiculous that his grandfather would do this, but he hates Stallone so much that
Again,
he's
what-
willing to get criminals.
There's
or
like four
they're
guys.
paid men.
There's
yeah.
like two kidnappers, and then two guys stand behind to like beat up Stallone or something like
so
that.
he fights them. There's like this big car chase, and he gets him back.
This truck would never be able to catch up to the car.
Are
like-
trucks fast?
I
or-
don't think they can go that fast. Not as fast as like
Put it into overdrive.
Yeah, we forgot to mention what he's hauling.
Brute 33.
What is he hauling?
Brute 33, which is a men's cologne.
Yeah, it's like it was like a cheesy men's cologne from. It's probably still around.
But you don't think it's a coincidence that
It's like
the
Old
back
Spice.
of his truck says brute on it, and he is a brute?
I guess it's probably more that they paid Menachem Golan like
Some money.
$1 million to be put on
Yeah.
the side of this truck.
But I was saying, like, if that truck crashed and all the brute like fell out, there would be a huge explosion, and it would stink for miles, like this horrible cologne
I just picture
for
that.
years to come.
This is what April thinks about when she's watching the movie. She was telling me about this last night when we were watching it.
She was like haunted by it. Like at night, she's like, Colin, what if it crashed?
It crashed.
It would smell.
It would
would smell
stink.
bad.
Have there been some funny like crashes recently of like, oh, hot dog filler went all across the highway at one point?
Just like the maple syrup one. Yeah, just I always get a kick out of. Well, hopefully no one died, but I always laugh.
Even if they do die,
Yeah.
humorously.
There was a similar story. This is not that similar, but there was like a town that had a beached whale.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The one they blew
They
up?
decided to blow up
Yeah.
to get rid of it, and it went everywhere.
That's
and
on
speaking, it
YouTube.
stunk for like a long time, like whale guts.
Yeah, but that was on YouTube. It's a classic.
Oh, what a
news-
mishandling.
But yeah, and the chunks were so big that they would smash cars. Like,
Yeah, they did so much damage. Okay, so I have a hard time remembering the middle of this movie because not a lot happens.
Not a lot happens. They kind of like, well, they do have a good montage of him like teaching the kid how to train.
Yeah.
Sloane, by the way, has like, he's got kind of like an arm workout thing in his.
It's a little pulley system in his truck.
So he can drive and like work out at the same time.
Should you get one of those things, April? At your computer desk, you could like work out your arm
I
wrestling
should.
arm.
He also has like a handful of putty earlier. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like silly putty, and I guess he was squeezing it.
He's squeezing it, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I don't want to be like Stallone and just have one big arm.
One jacked
My
arm.
right arm is already slightly stronger than my left arm because I'm right-handed.
You'd be
so-
like that guy in Lady in the Water.
What guy?
One of the neighbors.
Oh yeah, there's one guy who has a big
He has
jacked
a big
arm.
jacked arm.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, it's probably best.
Bad movie.
Oh yeah,
Not good.
Sorry, Twin Peaks: The Return again. There was the guy who had like the one fist.
Oh,
that
yeah.
he's like, I never take this glove off, and he was like working that arm out because he knew he would have to punch
Use it
somebody
one day.
someday.
That's right.
Oh, I didn't realize there were so many connections
It all
between
comes
Twin
back to
Peaks
Twin
and Over
Peaks.
the Top.
So I think at this point, yeah, he gets the kid back. They finally go to the mom's hospital, and she's died.
Yeah,
They're too late.
Unfortunately,
And the kid's like, no!
Yeah, he chases
if we
him
had
out.
flown here, I could have seen her.
yeah. So he kind of blames Stallone. They have the funeral, and then
Well, the kid gets in a cab and goes away. I'm like, first of all, this kid is taking so many cabs in this movie.
he's pretty
Or
into
driving himself.
Yeah,
What? Okay.
Stallone does teach him how
and
to
again,
drive at some point.
again, I am okay, thinking like from the cab driver's perspective. It's like this kid runs out of a hospital being chased by this trucker
Crying.
and then runs into the cab, and the cab immediately drives away. Like,
Yeah.
what cab is going to drive away with like a
Whatever
10
you
or-
say.
I mean, later
Whatever you
on,
say,
the
sir.
kid, it's the 80s, he just gets on an airplane with no supervision.
Yeah, this is so
seemingly
crazy.
buys his own ticket.
All right, well, we'll get there. But before that, basically, Robert Loggia wants to prevent Stallone from seeing his son. He
We're not there yet. So Stallone, yeah, the kid goes back to Robert Loggia,
Yeah.
basically.
He's living
Stallone decides to drive into his compound with his Mack truck.
yeah, because
Yeah, love
that's
it.
the way to do it. I mean,
The guards are like, look at that loser. And that Stallone doesn't like
so
that.
he drives
Floors it.
through the gate, which go flying.
Yeah.
takes down a fountain and then crashes through the front door.
Yeah,
right?
he has one of these huge big front lawns with fountains and statues that he smashes through. And
he
then
would be going to jail for like
he pretty much drives right into the front door and like smashes it down. But it is like a Scarface compound. He has those like kind of half moon stairs that go up and everything. And he's like, "You're never gonna get away with this."
Yeah, and then he gets arrested. He literally goes to jail.
No jail rap, which I was very disappointed.
You mean like in House Party?
Yeah.
Yeah, there could have been a really good opportunity for Stallone to
I've never
sing.
seen House
Just
Party.
watched it and it's really, really good.
The jail rap is very offensive.
It's a little of its time. But yeah, so no jail rap. He doesn't meet the fat boys either in jail. What movie was that?
I can't remember.
There's another jail rap. I don't remember.
Yeah, Robert Loggia sends one of his like lawyer thugs, and he's like, "Look, we'll drop all charges if you just sign this form saying that you give custody to Robert
and
Loggia."
leave the state."
Yeah.
And he signs it, which I was really surprised at. But the son comes in and they have a little talk, and he's like, you abandoned me, and they don't really meet eye to eye, and he's like,
I'm better off with Robert Loggia. Robert Loggia.
Robert Loggia.
So-
You think when he's signing his contract, he's like, Stallone got what? I want some of that money. I'm Robert Loggia.
So Stallone has basically given up on seeing his son ever again, which is insane. But that's what our hero, ladies and gentlemen.
Doesn't seem to affect. He seems to like not stay away from him at the end of the movie. I don't know.
Well, because at the
signed a
end of the
contract.
movie, it was his son's choice, and I guess maybe
guess.
that made the contract void. I don't know. So he has to go to the big competition, and
Yeah.
now the movie really starts.
Exactly. And what is this, like 15 minutes from the end of the movie?
No, it's about like 40 minutes from the end
You're
of the movie.
kidding.
The climax is long. Yeah.
So we're now at Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. He sells his shitty truck, and then he bets on himself, which I'm
20-1 odds. Yeah, I didn't think that you could do that. Maybe you can't.
I think you can do that. Why can't you?
Well,
I don't know.
What
It
if
seems, what if you rig the competition?
Throw the game.
What if you
Yeah.
like bet against yourself and like
Yeah.
throw the thing?
Exactly.
that happens all the time, though. Like in movies and stuff like that, people betting against themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess take a dive. I don't know.
That was the Black Sox scandal in the,
Oh,
I don't
but
know,
they threw the
1910s
game.
or 20s. Because they threw the game, yeah.
So what if you're a shit gambler? Could you bet against yourself and win money?
I mean, the thing is, you'd have to be a very good gambler
Yeah.
and then bet against
'Cause the
somebody.
odds would be so
who-
high.
Yeah, it would be high.
Interesting.
Who knows? But so we get to meet like all the major players in this arm wrestling competition. There's also a ladies section that is just shown briefly in the montage,
Yeah.
but I totally appreciated that.
These all seem like real arm wrestlers. Or like wrestlers.
Apparently, some of them were.
Yeah.
Or wrestlers, as you
Because
say.
they kind of do like interviews with them.
Yeah,
like,
so those couldn't have been scripted, right?
No,
Because they
no.
felt so off the cuff, even when Stallone is talking, and I loved it. I was like, this has such an authentic feel to it, and it's just them saying like, yeah, like when I'm out there, I imagine that I hate my opponent, and
I'm gonna maim him and kill him.
yeah, it just felt so real.
Yeah.
But we need to talk about my favorite thing in the movie, which is a man gets his arm broken on
Oh,
camera.
God.
And it's shocking. But it's still my favorite thing because it's the most memorable thing in the movie.
It's in one of the montages, yeah. And
During
then,
with the great song.
oh, and you see his elbow like come right out of the socket.
Yeah, so I had just by coincidence heard about this recently on another podcast, and I was like, really? So if I didn't know about this, and I was looking for it, I may have not noticed it. You didn't notice it, but so we had to rewind it. And like, yeah, you see this guy's arm break. It's totally real, unscripted, and they don't cut away.
Yeah,
they show
it's
it.
so
They
gross.
practically zoom in on it. I can't believe that's in the movie.
Yeah, if you didn't know, I don't think you would really know because you just see the guy's like, oh,
Yeah, it goes so
he
fast.
screams.
You can see his arm
Yeah.
like separate.
He,
from,
like, hold-
like the,
but-
Yeah, if you're looking
Yeah.
at the elbow, you can
The
see that it
joint.
Yeah,
snaps.
if you aren't
separates.
actually looking at where, so it looks like it dislocated.
Well, I gotta say, my favorite character is Mad Dog. This is one of the guys that
Mad
Stallone.
Dog.
Yeah, he does he eat a cigar?
I think that's Grizzly.
He eats a cigar and he drinks the oil.
Everybody is so like
That his name was Grizzly.
I don't know. I thought it was Mad Dog, but who knows?
I think we're getting the names confused. Yeah, I think his name is Grizzly at the end.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Who knows? Anyway,
he's wearing like a vest, but yeah, everyone is trying to be
Yeah,
so.
a vest that says Fubar on it.
Yeah, everybody's
Yeah.
trying to be so intimidating as they step up to the arm wrestling table. But yeah, he's like eats a cigar and then at one point
a lit cigar.
is drinking Valvoline motor oil. I don't know what that's supposed to prove.
Yeah, you can't just do that.
But the funniest thing is like the gag afterwards. We're just doing another montage, and they see him like he's dropping Alka-Seltzer into a glass of water, and he's drinking it. And he's like, ugh.
Like right as he's about to do another arm wrestle.
It was a good setup payoff.
I will say, I also love the song. Again, I know I mentioned that before.
Winner takes it
all.
Well, my favorite thing is definitely the appearance of hardcore wrestling legend Terry Funk appearing in the movie
What?
as
As
a
who?
bodyguard. He's a bodyguard. He's the one that Stallone pushes through the glass window.
No shit.
He's the one who goes and gets Stallone too. He's like, Robert Loggia would like to see you.
Oh, yes.
Loggia.
He's like, when am I going on? Half an hour? I'll be there. And then he goes up and like gets in this fight, and then he's like, obviously he hurts his arm right before the big
Loggia tries to
competition.
bribe him because the kid steals a truck and drives it to Vegas.
Yeah,
from
and
flies.
we were unclear whether he got on a plane or not because he was at the airport, but then it seemed like he also drove to Vegas, so I wasn't sure what happened, but. Who cares? He got there.
I think he cabbed from the airport to Vegas, but yeah.
But
it's like
for people who don't know who Terry Funk is, look online. He's had some matches that would seemingly kill any other person.
Wow.
He was in WWE for a long time, but his Japan matches were very famous as
okay.
King of the Death Match.
oh Jesus, wow.
Did he
Watch out for barbed wire,
So you
kids.
become king by killing everybody else?
Nope, he's still alive too.
No.
He's still kicking.
All right.
Okay, well, good.
78
for him.
years old.
Clearly, he never lost a death match.
That's actually
No.
insane that he's that old. Because considering
He's been wrestling
like,
since 1965.
wow, like
That's
so,
crazy.
like what they put their bodies through.
Yeah,
you
wrestlers
know.
usually don't live that long.
or they have complications. And
yeah,
they
they're
can't
always in like
walk or stuff like
wheelchairs, or
that,
they have
yeah.
like a heart attack, or something happens
Well,
to
good
them.
for him.
Yeah, so like, yeah, Robert Loggia, again, because the kid seems to be bonding with Stallone, and so Loggia tries to bribe him with like an even better truck than the one that
Yeah.
you win. He's like,
and $500,000 too.
yeah.
But he's gonna win money anyway because he bet on himself if he wins
he
the
wins.
competition.
So yeah, that was funny. But he has the truck already there. He's like, look down there over the balcony.
It's what money can buy.
Yeah, he's like, have this truck ready right under my balcony. I want to show him. I'm Robert Loggia.
Yeah. Of course, he denies this. Gets in a fight with his bodyguard, pushes him through a window, plate glass window.
I do love that Stallone. I guess he injures himself. He kind of loses one of the matches. And I said to April, like, everyone would be thinking like he's out of the game now. But then I'm like, they're gonna have somebody explain, and then it's like, now it's like, oh, Lincoln Hawk is lost. Just a reminder, though, this is best 2 out of 3.
They do say it throughout from the beginning.
Okay.
Well,
I
the 2 out
didn't
of
notice
3.
because I was like, he just lost. Is the movie over? Like, yeah. But no,
But he
lost.
kind of
had to
injures
lose
his
twice.
elbow, but he has this like, it looks like a leg warmer he's got on his elbow for the rest of the movie. It's really funny.
Looks like arm warmer.
Yeah,
an
an elbow warmer.
Then we're up. It's the big
It's
final.
Stallone versus Bull.
And Mikey is in the audience going, yeah, over the top. You can do it. And it's this big thing.
Yeah, they kind of
big
slip.
sweaty thing.
They slip it first, and then they like.
Oh, you let go! You let go!
Yeah.
He's like, okay, we're gonna strap you together. So they have this like double hand strap thing.
The thing
that, like,
is,
ties them
Mad
together.
Dog, or the guy he's up against, he hates him. He's just so pissed off that
He's like, I'm gonna break you on the table, and you're never gonna come back again.
Yeah, but when he wins, he actually kind of gives him like the nod. Like,
Wait!
you know.
He wins. Don't you want to build up to them
Sorry.
like wrestling,
Okay,
going,
so
back,
they're going
and
back
forth?
and forth.
Just
They're
edit
going,
that part.
And then Stallone does this thing where right before he's going to win, he
Yeah.
goes back a little bit, slams the arm down.
He does his little hand adjustment thing that he does.
Yeah,
and
he did the
wins.
thing. Yeah.
I guess they're still strapped together, but yeah, Bull seems, to respect him. He's like, all right.
Even though he gave him a headbutt, like
Earlier.
during the
yeah,
break
what
of
the hell?
match.
That would be.
Oh, no, not a headbutt. He like punched himself. Stop punching yourself.
Yeah, he's like, his nose is bleeding. You would be out of the competition.
Yeah,
Bull.
that shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, it's like
No rules at the World Arm Wrestling
It
Championship.
did seem like the whole crowd was cheering for him, though, because they set it up as this is David versus Goliath.
Yeah, because Bull had won the past 5 years. He was like the champion, undefeated champion.
So they wanted.
That's so boring. You don't want to see a guy who's won 5 years in a row
Yeah, I know.
win again.
Exactly.
But it seems like Loja kind of makes it there, and he sees like the crowd cheering for Hawk, and then he sees Hawk and the kid and Mike Hawk kind of like hugging and stuff, and
I guess he just backs off.
kind of realizes like, they've made a connection or something like that.
It's super subtle, and it almost seems like there was a scene that was cut. But I think they kind of give a give a little look.
So what happens was in the next scene, you can see them walking towards the truck, and he's already got like the Hawk symbol on the side.
What do you know?
But you see him walking away from Robert Loja. So there was like a conversation that was cut.
Well,
where
that really should have been in the movie.
Loja's just had tears in his eyes. He was just
he's
so
like,
proud.
you made a connection with my
It's
grandson.
like, I guess.
I also
since you
love
wanna-
arm wrestling and would
Yeah.
only let my daughter marry an arm wrestling championship. What if Loja like suddenly you see he has like a huge buff right arm from arm wrestling?
As he's watching him wrestle,
I'm
he
a
goes to
veteran
like
of the
there's like this
competition.
flashback scene to him as like a teen like arm wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's been my dream.
You're a loser.
I was hoping that he was going to start cheering for Hawk, like, come on, Hawk, over the top.
Yeah, I mean that would have been good too. So many missed opportunities in this.
Yeah.
But that's it. They ride off into the sunset
Yeah,
together.
they're going to start like a trucking company.
Yeah, Hawk and Son.
Yeah, going to go over the top. So I don't know.
You're not going back to school, boy. You're working for me.
Yeah, that's weird.
Hey, what does over the top mean?
I don't know, you're just going over the top.
But like they say it
It's like
during.
10, but you're going to 11.
It just means like take it past.
I thought it was
take
like an arm wrestling.
take it past the
specific-
limit,
no,
man.
Okay. So it's just a catchphrase.
Sure, I don't know. Whatever.
Okay.
What are you going to call the movie? Over the top. There you go. Arm Man.
Arms of Steel.
They should call it Hawk. They should have done a sequel, Hawk and Son.
Yeah.
And it's just about like their terrible lives as truckers. Oh God!
How they hate each other.
should have lived with Loja.
My son, he died. I replaced him with this chimpanzee. And now it's every way, which way but loose.
No, it's like the grown up, like, Hawk's in a wheelchair because of all his like back issues that he's got from years of driving a truck.
And arm
The
wrestling.
kid's
Sleeping
like
in a truck.
the kid's like a meth head, and he's been smoking a lot, so he's all haggard looking. Ugh.
Okay.
I could have lived with Loja in his compound.
Would you guys recommend this movie?
Yes, I would. I watched it with friends, and we were high-fiving throughout it.
Really?
See,
Yeah, we loved it.
this is the type of movie. If I was going to put it on at a party, I'd probably mute the middle half because it's just just not enough fun.
You
stuff
put on
happening.
so many movies on at parties.
I would.
My last party, I put like 4 movies on. So
Wow.
Well,
I would.
3
I would
movies.
just put the last like arm wrestling sequence on. I wouldn't
See,
put
Yeah,
anything.
maybe.
The
People
difference
would fall
between
asleep.
me and you guys is that I'm a big softie, and so are all my friends. So we love this shit.
Hey, that's fine, and I totally
I
agree.
like sentimental stuff.
There's some good sentimental schmaltz in here. And I kind of,
all.
I just feel that it should have been interspersed more with.
I agree. It could have had more arm wrestling.
The arm wrestling. That's the
Yeah.
only thing. There is a huge big lull in the middle of the movie.
I mean, the scene where he teaches him how to drive is very cute.
Yeah, that's cute. Like
Yeah.
I've got nothing against any of that stuff. I just feel like from the first arm wrestling scene to the last, there should have been more in there. There's just a huge gap.
Yeah.
You need to build up to the Vegas thing, and then and I think also going into it, I had a completely different version of the movie in my mind.
Yeah, so I'm sure that affected your.
All I thought
impression.
is the whole movie was just like the last 20 minutes. You know what I mean? So
No, instead it's a love story about a man and his son.
I just Hawk and
So
Soot.
this movie, it's on Tubi. Where else, right?
Yeah.
Of course, it's on
where
Tubi.
all the best movies go to die.
Yeah. Check out Tubi if we haven't mentioned that already. It's free.
Yeah, Fox News is Tubi.
Hey, I haven't been getting those ads lately, so that's nice. Now there's just ads for like Airbnb.
It's like hashtag honk honk freedom truckers.
So if you want to email the podcast, we're at no such thing as a bad movie at gmail.com, and we're on Twitter at no such thing pod. And if you want to support us on Patreon, we're at patreon.com/no such thing as a bad movie. If you're on the $5 level, you get bonus content every 2 weeks. So every week you get content, and we just recorded a episode on Doctor Strange and the Manyverse of Madness.
The Manyverse of
Multiverses of Madness.
Multiverse of Midness.
Which,
Starring Dr. X.
Yes,
Dr. X.
starring Dr. X. That's right. And if
You'll
you
get it when you listen to the episode.
Yeah. And if you want to find me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at April Atmansky.
You can follow me on Twitter, DeCloux, DECLOUX, the letter J, or listen to me every week on the Important Cinema Club podcast.
You can follow me on Twitter. I'm Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA.
And
I love Zima.
yes. So that's it for this week. Check out Tubi. Many other movies other than this one, but if you're into arm wrestling, maybe check out Over the Top.
or Champion.
And Truckin. Oh yeah, and Champion, which is a Korean movie, The Champion. I don't know where that's available, but it was fun. So I would actually definitely recommend that one. And that's it for this week. I'm April Atmansky.
I'm Justin DeCloux.
I'm Colin Cunningham.
And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.
And remember, the winner takes it all. The loser takes a fall.
And they all go over.
And they all have a ball.
Something over the top.